god, it's so good. Welcome back to Plants Not Plastic. Last week, I gave you a simple mashed potato recipe, so this week I had to give you a gravy to go with it. I think most people associate mashed potatoes and gravy with the holidays, probably because there's quite a bit of butter, dairy, or even turkey drippings that go into it. So it's not considered a particularly healthy food, but I'll argue that mashed potatoes and gravy is something that can be eaten year-round and even as a main dish instead of a side dish. So today I want to show you how to make a healthy and simple mushroom gravy. This recipe is mild, easy to make, and has some of the best things in it: onion, garlic, black pepper, and mushrooms. Compared to a store-bought option, my recipe has a sixth of the fat with half the sugar, and it actually has fiber, which a store-bought option will not. I'll share more information about the nutrition facts at the end of the video, but if you want all the details, you can go to my blog at PlantsNotPlastic.com, where I'll have a nutrition label that links out to Chronometer. To make this recipe, you will need 8 ounces of cremini or white mushrooms sliced, which is about 2 1/4 cups. You definitely want to make sure to wash your mushrooms to get off any dirt. Quick kitchen tip: if you want your mushrooms to last longer, leave them dry until you're ready to cook them, and that is when you want to rinse them. And then I actually like to pop the stem out because I just think it makes it easier to cut. You can flip it over and have a solid base. A third of a white onion, finely diced. 2 cloves of garlic minced. I'm just gonna use 1 because this one's huge. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme. You can also use fresh thyme, but you would want to double the amount, so a half teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. You're gonna start by combining your water, soy sauce, and cornstarch in a small bowl and mixing it together. You're gonna put your mushrooms, onion, and garlic into a small to medium-sized saucepan. You'll saute your veggies on a medium-high heat. So your mushrooms, onion, and garlic. And what we're gonna do here is like a dry or layer saute. If you want a detailed explanation of how to do that, you can go check out my Anaheim chili recipe. But basically what you're waiting for is for the vegetables to release their natural liquid. This will prevent them from sticking to the bottom of the pan as they cook, and you don't have to use any oil or extra water. You can see that there's nothing. If you want to go back on here, look, you can see there's nothing sticking to the bottom anymore because the water's released out of the mushrooms, so it deglazes the pan for you. So again, you just want to wait until most of that water has evaporated out. This will take about 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so they're like just starting to dry out a little bit here. We'll let them go for another minute or 2. Okay, so look, there's like a little bit of caramelization happening on the bottom now, so this is exactly right for your next step. So you're gonna take a half teaspoon of your dried thyme and put it in there. And you're basically just gonna cook it for a few seconds longer so that you can coat your mushrooms with the thyme. Then you will take your water, soy sauce, and cornstarch mixture, stir it one more time so there's no cornstarch stuck to the bottom of the bowl. And then you're gonna pour the liquid in slowly, stirring the entire time. And then you're just gonna keep stirring, and you're gonna stir constantly. Oh, said this out of order. You also wanna bring it all the way up to high so that it'll get up to a boil. And what you're looking for is this has a very light color. As the cornstarch starts to take effect and thicken your gravy, it's gonna get darker, and you'll actually see it thicken as you keep stirring. So you're gonna just stir, stir, stir until it thickens up and gets dark. And this is on a high heat. See, it's just starting to darken now. And you can see as it's starting to get up to a boil now, it's changed texture and has started to thicken. It may not thicken completely when it gets up to a boil, but once you turn the heat off, it will continue to thicken up. So I'm at a point where it's at a pretty good boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Cornstarch can be a kind of finicky ingredient. So I started with 3 tablespoons of cornstarch for this gravy recipe, and it didn't thicken up quite as much as I had liked. So I added another tablespoon by taking a little bit of water and making a paste out of it, and then adding it slowly, stirring the entire time, and that thickened it up a little bit more. So you may have to do that. You could start with more cornstarch in the beginning, but you may end up with a gravy that's really gelatinous, because sometimes cornstarch works really well with less, and sometimes it just doesn't work as well as it should. The gravy will also thicken a little bit more as it cools down. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you don't end up with something super thick in the pot, because it will be like jello. And the last thing you'll do is add in your 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then salt to taste. Some of my mess is in the frame. I must hide it from the people. All right, so that's it. Recipe's done, video's over, bye. Oh my God, it's so good. If you want to add a little bit more flavor to it, you can also use a 1/4 teaspoon of sage. That's a common ingredient in other mushroom or in other gravy recipes, so it should go great in this. You can also simplify it and pare it down to being just the soy sauce, water, mushrooms, and cornstarch, and it'll come out great. In terms of the nutrition facts, per 500 calories, my recipe has 7 grams of fiber with just under 17 grams of sugar and only 1.5 grams of fat, with tons of vitamins and minerals. In comparison, a store-bought mushroom gravy has no fiber, with 25 grams of sugar and 25 grams of fat, and literally no vitamins or minerals. You can look on Chronometer and it has nothing in it but sodium. So you're pretty much just buying a can of fat, sugar, and salt. In terms of cost, my recipe is pretty much the same price as a store-bought option, but it seems like for store-bought ones, people add a lot of stuff to them, which will make them more expensive and even less healthy for you. So that's it for today. If you like this video, please do subscribe and click the bell to get notifications when I put out new content. If you try this recipe, let me know by commenting below. You can also subscribe to my blog at PlantsNotPlastic.com, as well as follow me on social media. All that information is detailed below in the description. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.